Are you tired of giving chapter questions that students just copy and paste from Google? Are you looking for an engaging way for students to actually discuss texts? Today we're looking at ways to get rid of chapter questions and have more engaging discussions in the classroom. First with this, obviously there's going to be something that students are reading. Maybe this is going to be with book clubs, or maybe this is a whole class text. Now whatever that assignment is, students should have done the reading ahead of time, so before they read you want to give them directions. I started with just saying, take notes on what you read. However, I added a caveat. I said, please make sure you include at least these 10 words and circle them in your notes. I read the chapter ahead of time, and I looked for key ideas that I wanted to make sure students covered. So these could be characters that are being introduced, this could be themes, these could be exact words from the book, this could be something that I want students to connect. So maybe if there's an overall theme within it, I'm going to have that theme and students are going to try and figure out how they can put that in their notes. By having these words, students are having something to start from, something to go off of. So it's not just take notes. You're giving them something to work with. You're giving them tools. But you're also giving them the freedom to take whatever notes they think they need. I don't generally give a certain amount. I do tell them they have to include those words. Now sometimes I say 10 words, sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more, it just depends. Depending on what your grade level is and where your students are skill-wise, you may want to consider having less or more of those words, because the more words they have, the more notes they're probably going to have. You can also have the caveat is you can only use one of the keywords in each of their notes items, but you don't have to. Once they come back, students are going to first start to talk within small groups. Small groups, you can do a couple different things. Each student could take a turn sharing their favorite note they had. You could then have other students branch off of something that's similar. You could also just have each student read all of their notes, find similar items. You could also have students look for key ideas within those. What I like to do next is within their groups have students choose some of the key ideas going forward. Those key ideas, you could do a couple things. You could have students maybe post it in a Google Classroom post, or you could have them write it on the whiteboard. I like to do that because then we are able to discuss it as a class and find similarities. As other groups are writing, if they have the same thing that someone else did, they could maybe put a check mark or a smiley face by it. They could also put a little branch off of it and have their similar idea. But if it's a little bit different, that's something to note, and they want to include their specific ideas on there. In the beginning of the year, I will lead the discussion. I will help them and go idea to idea, calling on students who are looking for connections between them, things they thought were similar, things they thought were different, and go beyond just the basic idea of what's happening and trying to dig deeper into the text. Some of that's going to have to do with what our key terms are that we gave students in the beginning. However, students are definitely going to find deeper ideas and connections on their own. Later in the year, I have other students lead this process as well. This is great for students because it gives them authority within their learning. It gives them a leadership role, helps them feel invested, and also it leads to a very different discussion because students are much more comfortable when they're discussing with their peers. Eventually, this could become just a plain discussion with people sharing what they think and not without a leader. That's going to take a lot of coaching, but it's definitely possible. To assess this, you could take the students' notes, read through them, make sure they have the 10 items. You could also just walk around and listen to ideas. You could also assess on the participation in the group discussion as well, making sure that they are talking within their group at least. That way, if they're not comfortable sharing with the whole class, they don't have to. If you're running short on time and you're trying to make these keywords, I would suggest taking a look at SparkNotes. I'm sure you already read this text. So this is going to help remind you and help you find key terms. So look at characters, look at events, look at themes that you want to talk about. So if you're creating these for the first time, it's a great way to start. If it's the middle of the year, you got 3 other preps, and you have 200 papers to grade. That way you can get those key ideas, get a refresher for yourself, and also have time to live your life. Thank you for joining us today. I know you'll be able to apply some of these ideas in your own classroom to get away from the boring chapter questions and to help engage and stimulate conversations within your own classroom. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you have any new ideas on how to apply this. And happy teaching.